Welcome to my channel. So my name is Tasneem, and I just kind of wanted to do like a low-key video. And honestly, the purpose of this channel is going to be kind of just I just want to like explore. I guess kind of like that's really what it is. As of right now, I don't really have like a set goal, but I just want to explore a place where I can just like talk about my reflections about random things and like my reflections. I have some poetry up, but not a lot. And some books I really like. Um yeah, and I think another thing is I feel like recently I had this epiphany in my mind where I'm just like, dang, like especially as I look at older things, like I look at my journal entries and I look at some pictures and alhamdulillah, honestly, like, has anyone ever stopped to like really think about the importance of like not necessarily the importance, but have you ever really thought about like the invention of the camera, like how like you're so grateful just to have like at least I am. I'm grateful to have a camera just because like you're able to see like yourself grow and you're able to see yourself experience like different moments in life and things that are like super mundane. You're able to experience them and you're able to watch yourself experiencing them. And that's really why we have cameras, right? Because we want to capture that moment and it's almost like you're trying to capture that moment, that feeling. You're just trying to keep it frozen just for one moment so that at a later date you can remember that specific moment. And I think for me, I've just recently been noticing like, okay, I have my journal entries, I have my personal photos, my videos, different places I've experienced and visited, and I love those so much. But I don't really have videos where I can just like kind of like watch my own facial expressions. Like recently, I've been like, wow, like even my facial expressions, um, like that's even a ni'mah. Like that's something that I'm grateful for, and that's something that I don't want to forget, and I don't want to like get lost in the sauce as I get older. Like I find myself curious, like, do I have the same facial expression that I do like 10 years ago? And I have like some short videos, but they're not enough for me to get um like a clear perspective. So I think that's kind of like that's one reason where I built the channel. Well, kind of started the channel. And then this coffee. So part of it is for me, being able to like see who I am as the years go by, and then like kind of just like a place for me to like reflect in things like that. And then I think another part of it is there's like a huge age gap between me and my sister. And I think it would be really nice if like, I don't know, maybe in one of my reflections, she comes across my video and then it just helps her in her own journey, as she grows. And like you never know, like la qadar Allah, like if I pass before her and stuff like that. So I don't know, it's just like a way to keep a connection with someone alive through time, even with yourself, like you want to keep a connection alive with yourself through time and like with different aspects of yourself. So I think that's what it is. But anyways, today I really want to talk about this book right here. Okay. I need to talk about this book. Okay. So this book is As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow by Zulfa Katouh. I think I'm saying it right. I know I'm saying her first name correctly, but her last name, I'm not sure. Katouh or like I'm not sure. Inshallah, I'm saying it correctly. So, Zulfa Katouh is a Syrian writer. Okay, and my understanding is that one second, let me actually go back and take a look at this because I don't want to like butcher up her background. I know I wouldn't like someone doing that to me. Um, okay, so it says that she's currently pursuing her master's in drug sciences. Um, but I'm not sure if she has a bachelor's degree in pharmacy because I'm not sure. Like, I'm not sure if she studied in America, um, or like America slash Canada, or if she studied somewhere else. But one moment. I had to give myself a tissue. But yeah, so I hope I remember what I was saying. But anyway, so I picked up this book because I had a friend. She's like my pen pal friend, and she was telling me like, "Oh my God, you need to read this book." Okay, and I didn't really have time. So the thing is with me is I didn't used to be like this, but so like when I was younger, I literally would read a book. Um, so I'd read one book at a time, one book at a time. But I think because this is just my analysis of my own self. I think because I've read so many books in my life, because I'm an avid reader, I've always been like a voracious reader. I feel like it kind of made me have like this like sixth sense or something where I'm literally able to kind of um what's the word? I'm able to what was it? I can't even, my brain just like farted. I'm able to like I can kind of foresee like where the plot's gonna go. Like I don't get surprised at all. So now I don't really stick to one book anymore. Now I usually read one like several books at the same time. It's actually not that good, okay? And another thing is because I'm able to foresee like plots, sometimes like once I start getting to the end of the novel, I'm like, okay, like I already know what's gonna happen and I get bored. So I have to like train my brain to okay, like I started this, so like I need to finish it. So anyways, by the time I got to this, thankfully I actually started this book during the summer because that's when I usually have time. And my goal was to like really read it and just like enjoy it. Like, like I want to read it slowly, enjoy it slowly and stuff like that. And I know usually people when they do book reviews, they don't really sit here talking for such a long time, but I love this book so much that I'm gonna sit here and talk about this book, okay? Um I will say that a lot of the books that are coming out now, like for YA, like young adult books are coming out. Um, I feel like those books, they're very predictable, okay? And it's like fast read and it feels like brain raw. Like it really does. It feels like brain raw. And they're very okay. I'm not gonna say that you shouldn't like read those books, okay? Like even me, I need to read those books sometimes because it's like sometimes I just need something to turn off my brain, but I don't want to watch a movie and I don't want to watch a show and I don't want to watch like anything, okay? I don't want to watch a video. I just want to read something and like allow my mind to like take me through it slowly. And that's what you're doing when you're reading. When you're reading, you're really slowing down. Okay, like you're telling yourself, like, okay, like I can enjoy something in a slow way. That's what you're doing when you're reading. You're training your mind to say, like, like I can enjoy, I can have enjoyment in a slow manner. That's something that you can get from books that you will not get from like videos, okay? Because videos, they kind of like they're fast dopamine, okay? So it's using like the audio, the sound, the fast movements to get your attention and to like keep you hooked. Essentially, that's what it is. Um so yeah. Now that idea can sometimes be used in books too, just obviously not to the same extent because when you're reading a book, you're reading the written word. So that's what happens when you read like those like what it feels to me like what I kind of call them in my mind, like the cheap um plot line where it's like very predictable, whatever. Like sometimes you need that, okay? Like you just need to plug off. Now, when I read this book, okay, I would say the reading level for this book is high school. If you have like a good reader, they could probably read it in middle school. However, the reason why I wouldn't recommend this for middle school is just because the topics. That's what it is. Like the topics are like for older students. And the reason why I'm saying students is because I have the background in education. So like I feel like my mind just kind of automatically thinks in that way. Like sometimes when I'm reading. Um so um so there's that. So it has like it's very heavy. Like I didn't even get on the topic. Dang, sorry, I talk so much. So this is a historical fiction. It's set in Syria, the Syrian War, okay? And it's kind of talking about the FSA, the Free Syrian Army, okay? And it talks about also like the opposing. So it talks about like the government, the Syrian government as well. Um, so it kind of talks about the experiences of those of the Syrian people while the Syrian war was going on, like the revolution itself. Okay, so it talks about that, and it kind of goes through like the emotions of grief, and it kind of touches like slightly on like depression. I mean, it doesn't talk about depression like straight up, like it doesn't talk about it straight up, but it kind of touches on it. So um it kind of talks about depression, talks about PTSD slightly. It has some mental health issues. So the main character, Salama, she's going through some mental health issues, kind of like hallucinations and things like that. Also, I don't want to get into it too much so that I don't like spoil it. So so yeah, what else? It also talks about the progression like of a love story, like an Islamic love story. And I really, really like that because like the writer did a really good job of like giving like the actual like a very real portrayal of like especially like from a girl's perspective of like a love story and stuff like that. And it did it in like in a very like halal Islamic manner. And so that's one thing that I liked. I would also like if you are a teacher and you want this book, okay, you want to like have this book again. Like I would say like not even ninth grade to be honest. I'll probably say like 10th or 11th grade. Um 12th grade if you have a way of making it very rigorous, like if you're pairing it with another maybe a little bit heavier novel, then yeah. Like if you do this for 12th grade, you would have to pair it with something else. Now the thing is that in 12th grade, if you're following like the Western curriculum, they usually, I'm pretty sure, they do British literature in 12th grade. So that's the problem is that I'm not sure if you're gonna have enough time if you're doing a 12th grade, if you're in a 12th grade curriculum. I'm not sure if you're gonna have enough time to hit this book just because you have like you need to like you need to kind of like figure that out unless as I said pair it with something else and then maybe talk about like the British how the Brits were kind of involved in like the Syrian government like a long time ago when it started. Okay, and like the colonization and stuff like that, colonial, whatever. So, yeah. So as I said, yeah. So that's kind of like, so 12th grade. So I would say like 10th grade honors. If you're doing this for 10th grade regular, I think it would, maybe you would have to go a little bit slower paced. Maybe make it like a 5 week thing, just because. So yeah. Something else that I like about this book. Um, uh, So Zulfa, she did a really good job with incorporating Islamic concepts into the story. So like as a Muslim myself, okay, I'm reading this and I genuinely feel like I'm in the story. Another thing when I read this book, because there's not a lot of like at least like there's not a lot like I wouldn't okay, so I could say that this is YA, but like also like adults can obviously read this as well. Um but it's like an easier read. Um, but because because I feel like honestly, like correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know, I would want to hear what other people think. I feel like YA is always like it always deals with like kind of like everyday things that people deal with and it's always like it's usually like fantasy based, but like it's like there's always like some kind of romantic trope that's like kind of like weaved into it. So there's that. What I like about this book again, she weaved in Islamic concepts. She had Arabic terms in there. So me reading this, although I've never been through something as the main character Salama went through, obviously with like the terror, the war, and like there's some like gruesome depictions as well because she is a pharmacy student. Okay, like she has a pharmacy background, so she's working in a hospital. So that again, that's also why I would say like this is for like older high school kids. Um, so like that's a sensitivity that you need to be aware of. Um, and then I forgot what I was saying. I genuinely forgot what I was saying. I think my brain just like iced. Oh, the Islamic terminology and the Arabi in there, like it made me, I never knew how much I needed to see myself in a character until I read this book. Like when I read this book, I realized that like what I was missing as a reader growing up was having more Muslim authors. Like talking about real things that we go through, number one, and like showing us like kind of like the emotions that we feel. Because I feel like there's not enough of that. Like, okay, it's great to be a reader and it's great to read like, books written by other writers. But it's like it's something completely different when you could see yourself in the story and you feel understood. Like that's literally that's why I think I love this book so much, is because I read the book feeling like, oh my God. Like I would love this to be taught like in an Islamic school in a private school, just because like I feel like we need it. Like we need to feel like we see ourselves in our experiences. Like we need to see it in a book to feel like, oh, like this is normal. Like what I'm going through is normal. And like what it is like I feel like poetry and reading and writing in general, like that's part of culture, like books, songs, music, all of this stuff. Like even like we're not talking about whether like the permissibility of like music and whatever, but like I'm just saying about the idea that this is part of culture. Okay, reading is part of culture. Like this is just part of like life. And so like when you're able to see yourself represented, like I didn't even know that that's something that I wanted or like I was feeling until I read the book. So so I feel like if you are someone who wants to feel like you want to see yourself in a book, you want to see like especially because like Sanama in the book, she's like dealing with like her own romantic encounter and like what that is like, for a Muslim girl. I think this like did a really good job like of displaying that. So I really like that. And then I think another thing that I really connected to was she was talking about her idea of home, like home and identity was like a strong thing. And she talked about home, Syria was her home. And like I just felt like I felt like 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 I just kept on thinking like I can kind of connect to like kind of like some of the concepts that she was thinking about. And honestly, I think it also has something to do with the writer herself. So Zulfa, she is like a third culture kid. So and like some of her experiences, I'm pretty sure like her experiences, like for example, like I know she has like some sort of science. Like as I said, she was doing her master's in drugs and sciences. She lived in Germany, and Germany is also referenced in this story. And then she's Canadian. So Zulfa, the author, she's Canadian. And then also Salama is ends up going to, oh, I don't want to like, yeah, but it's kind of like there's some things that are like tied about the author that you see it in the book. And I think now that I like really like thought like really sat down and I thought about it, I was like, dang, like I don't know, it was just like a really good thought-provoking book. And another thing is that if you want to teach this, like you would reference the lemons in the story. And I feel like that was like the most like that was the most figure like the most I don't know, I can't even speak today. It's like this piece of figurative language, I really like loved it because oh, that's something else I want to talk about. Is like this book, it had a lot of figurative language. That's why I connected to it because I'm a poet and I love poetry. So, and I love like figurative language, abstract language, like personification, metaphor, simile, and imagery. And Zulfa did a really good job of weaving all of that into the story. So when you're reading the story, it doesn't just feel like a novel, it feels like you're reading a poem. but like a very like dense type of poem, right? With like heavier topics. So, um, yeah. So it was that, yeah, that's what it was. Like I felt like I was reading a long form poem in a way because of how how much imagery she put in there. It was very colorful imagery and like it connected to the poet in me and like the writer in me, so like I could really see it. So yeah, I think those are all my thoughts on the book. I'm pretty sure there's more. I would talk about this more, but I know if I did, like I really like probably won't stop. So yeah. One second. What happened? Is this not recording? Oh, it's recording. Okay. I got scared for a second. So, what else? What else? What else? Um, oh yeah. After I finished this book, mind you, I didn't I some there was some parts that like honestly they were pretty gruesome. So then I kind of put the book down. I put it down for like 5 days or something so that I can kind of like process like what happened, and then I would go back to reading it. But anyways, after I finished reading it, I got so obsessed with the book. I went ahead and I created like a whole lesson plan because I was like, the entire time I was reading this book, I was like, I could totally see myself teaching this book. And another thing is I felt like it connected to contemporary times. This is an issue that was literally resolved like 20 December 2024. I hope I hope the dates are correct, but I'm pretty sure I'm correct. Around that time, like the Syrian war and everything. So that's like a year and a half-ish ago. So I just felt like it connected, you know? So yeah, so I was so obsessed with it. I went ahead and I created an entire like lesson plan. And yeah, I created a whole like 4 week lesson plan on it. Um, so yeah, if you're interested in that, the link for that is in my bio. But yeah. But I think what I'm gonna do is when I have time, because right now I'm reading some other books, I'm probably gonna go ahead and see Zoulfa has another book that came out. Um, the thing is, I feel like a part of me is like, I don't know, I feel like because I went into Zulfa's first world, I don't want to go into another one and just like, I don't know, like I don't want to like another book more than this one. But inshallah, if I have time, I'll probably see if I can like read her other book. Um, when I have time, because right now I'm just reading some like nonfiction here and there. Um, I have just like some stuff going on. So yeah, I'm always reading like several things, like several nonfiction. Am I reading not really reading fiction right now. Kind of put a pause in that. This was the last fiction I read. Excuse me. So yeah. Anyways, thanks for listening to me yap. And inshallah you guys have a nice day and Assalamu alaikum.